Topics and Tea with Candice P in 3, 2, 1.
Well, okay. It looks like comedian and podcaster Joe Rogan has felt the heat and the pressure and has decided to apologize for using the N-word as well as describing Black people in a Black neighborhood as Planet of the Apes.
Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years. It's a very unusual word, but it's not my word to use. Over 12 years, I said a lot of fucking stupid shit, which is fine when you're talking about most things, but not when you're talking about race.
I am going to show you the full clip of Joe Rogan and his apology, but I wanted to let you know, according to the New York Times, over 70 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience has been removed from Spotify. In Joe Rogan's 5-minute and 46-second apology video, he explains that the compilation video of him using the N-word was taken out of context, but he also said even in context, he was wrong, and that under no circumstances should he or any white person use the N-word, especially for entertainment or as a joke. And Joe Rogan took responsibility and admitted to that. I want y'all to hear exactly what he said, and then we're gonna discuss. Check this out.
Hello, friends. I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me.
Like, you know,
the nigger thing.
Yeah.
Saying the word nigger.
You've already said nigger.
D is just like nigger. Saying nigger.
She's calling you a nigger. It's like this
Boy, that he's a nigger, and starts calling them niggers. Word nigger. There should be a word like nigger, especially like the word nigger. That's our nigger. About niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And then our niggers start saying nigger. Allowed to use the word nigger. Out the word nigger. See nigger. Word nigger. Say nigger, and he couldn't say nigger. And most nigger.
Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years, but for a long time, when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N-word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. Like that context was part of the clip we were talking about Red Fox, how Red Fox said that word on television in the 1970s, and how times have changed so much since then. Or about how Richard Pryor used it as one of the titles of one of his albums. Or I was quoting a Lenny Bruce bit, or I was quoting a Paul Mooney bit, or I was talking about how Quentin Tarantino used it repeatedly in Pulp Fiction. Or I was talking about how a Netflix executive, ironically, used it because he was trying to compare it to another offensive word, and he said it out loud, and they fired him. Not calling anybody or just saying the word out loud. I was also talking about how there's not another word like it in the entire English language, because it's a word where only one group of people is allowed to use it, and they can use it in so many different ways. Like if a white person says that word, it's racist and toxic, but a Black person can use it and it could be a punchline, it could be a term of endearment, it could be lyrics to a rap song, it could be a positive affirmation. It's a very unusual word, but it's not my word to use. I'm well aware of that now, but for years I used it in that manner. I never used it to be racist because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you fucked up. And I clearly have fucked up. And that's my intention to express myself in this video, to say, there's nothing I can do to take that back. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. I do hope that, if anything, that this can be a teachable moment. Because I never thought it would ever be taken out of context and put in a video like that. And now that it is, holy shit, it looks bad. And it's part of also me doing this podcast for thousands of hours, thousands of episodes over 12 years. I said a lot of fucking stupid shit, which is fine when you're talking about most things, but not when you're talking about race. And there's another clip that I have to address. There's a clip from 11 years ago. I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia and we went to go see Planet of the Apes. And we didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab and we got dropped off in this all black neighborhood. And I was trying to make the story entertaining. And I said, we got out and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but it sure fucking sounded like that. And I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying there's a lot of black people there.
No white people. Says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I go, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door and there was no white people.
But then I went on to talk about what a positive experience it was and how much fun it was to go to see this movie in a black neighborhood. It wasn't a racist story, but it sounded terrible. And like I said, you can have clunky stories about anything, but not about race. And so I deleted that whole podcast, but obviously somebody made a clip out of it and taken out of context. It looks terrible, but it looks terrible even in context. It's a fucking idiotic thing to say. And I was just trying to be entertaining. I certainly wasn't trying to be racist. And I certainly would never want to offend someone for entertainment with something as stupid as racism. My hope is that, look, I can't go back in time and change what I've said. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. But I do hope that this can be a teachable moment for anybody that doesn't realize how offensive that word can be coming out of a white person's mouth, in context or out of context. My sincere and humble apologies. I wish there was more that I could say, but all of this is just me talking from the bottom of my heart. It makes me sick watching that video, but hopefully at least some of you will accept this and understand where I'm coming from. My apologies and much love. My sincere, deepest apologies and much love.
Okay, so y'all heard that. That was Joe Rogan's full apology video. He admits that he knows he's absolutely wrong and that rather in context or out of context, he and other white people cannot use the N-word. White people always get so confused. Well, if it's a bad word, why do black people say it in their songs when they talk to each other? Why do you guys say it? You don't have to understand it or agree with it. You can't say it in context or out of context. We don't even give y'all many rules. We give y'all like 3. Number 1, don't use the N-word. Y'all have used it long enough to degrade us and separate us from our humanity. For far too long, y'all tried to make it like we weren't even human. We were just niggas. Whether you agree with it or not, us black people, we can use the word. Yes, have your opinion on if it's right or wrong, but guess what? We can use it and you can't. Number 2, don't walk up to us and ask, can you touch our hair? And most times y'all don't even ask. Y'all just reach out and touch our hair because it's interesting, as if we're some type of freak show because our curls are tightly coiled. And number 3, treat us fairly. Treat us as the human beings that we are, just like you. That's at work, that's in business, that's at school, in all public places, and you know what? Just in life, treat us fairly. Is that really too much for black people to ask of you, white people? It is 2022, and the fact that we even have to explain this to white people is the real problem. Y'all gave us more than just rules. Y'all gave us laws. We can't eat here. We can't drink here. We can't sleep here. We can't vote. We have to live in this neighborhood. Y'all had over 10,000 sundown towns between 1930 and 1966. Towns who made it very known to black people that once the sun went down, You better not even be outside, walking, drinking, sitting, talking, nothing. Black people couldn't even be outside when the sun went down, or else we will be tortured and killed. And this was all the way up until 1966. That is not that long ago. That time frame is when my grandparents were young adults. My parents were born in 1968. This is recent, and we will not forget. Shout out to Harlem-based postal carrier Victor Hugo Green. He created what was called the Green Book, first published in 1936, basically giving Black people a guidebook on where they can travel that would be safe, where they can sleep, what hotels, what motels. And when they did travel, they gotta make sure they don't travel at night. So imagine traveling across the country or from state line to state line. Sometimes that takes hours and it turns dark and we could not be outside or else. But y'all mad because y'all can't use the N-word in context? We don't give y'all many rules. Y'all's rules set our generations back mentally, emotionally, financially, and everything. But y'all want to be in the comment section on social media mad because y'all can't use the word nigga in context? Are some of y'all that lazy and so full of pride to use 3 words? The N-word? Nah, y'all want to use 1 word, nigga. Well, really, nigger. Yup, I can say it and you can't. The white outrage over using the word nigga is the prime example of why we don't want y'all to use it. Why do y'all even want to use it? But go ahead, try using it, and we gonna be on y'all next. But you know what? We're normal human beings. We're not gonna be on y'all necks the way y'all were, wrapping ropes around our necks and hanging us from trees for years. But that's all I have to say about that. I wanna know what y'all think. Black people, do y'all accept Joe Rogan's apology? And white people, will y'all do what Joe Rogan told y'all to do? Take this as a learning opportunity? Or do you still want to use the N-word so badly in context? Let me know what you think. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one, all right? Bye.